Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel slash my bathroom. Okay, so people asked me in the comments, I can't remember who, that they wanted me to do a breakdown of shades of Q and the match, I guess, lower levels. So I just decided that I was going to do level 7 just because that's where the hair, the orange hair lies. Like when you're dyeing your hair, you get to that level 6, 7 range. You know, your hair can't push past that place and it stays there and it's orange, and it's either you bleach to be a little bit higher or you stay there and work with what you got. So I picked out a couple of the more cooler toners in level 7 that I'm gonna look at. So let's see how they go.
I'm using Reckon Flash Lift as my bleach of choice. Oh, spilling. Not necessarily measuring, just getting enough bleach. And I'm using 30 volume. I didn't have Reckon peroxide 30 volume, so I'm just using a permission one that I have at home. This is critical. Can't go back to the salon, so I have to use what I can. Since this is just an experiment, I'm just mixing to get some type of consistency in here, like that, to saturate the hair. This is some black human hair that I got from somewhere, somebody's hair or something like that. I'm gonna add a little bit more bleach like that, mix it up, and I'm going to saturate this. And I kind of want it to lift to level 6, 7, prefer level 7 because that's where the hair gets like really orangey. This hair is some decent hair, so I'm assuming that it will lift high enough. And I'm using 30 volume, so the developer is high enough that I can get somewhere with this. Okay, so let's see what we can do with this mixture, and then I will come back and show you. I'm just gonna apply. I'm gonna saturate the whole hair with it. I'm doing this on the floor because I don't have a table, but let me saturate, come back and show you how it looks like. I've saturated the hair with bleach, and it's sort of already processing, so hopefully it can process really well and we can move on to the toner stage.
After I rinsed it out, it came out really perfect, the perfect orange color that I want to use to test my toners on.
This is my setup. I have most of it's level 7 toners. So I have 7N. Let me zoom in so you can see. I have, let me zoom out. 7N, 7NB, 7VB, 7NA, 7T, 7P, and 6GN. So those are the toners that I'll be putting on the hair, so you can see how it kills the brass or the orange in the hair. So let's get started. I measured 5 milliliters of each toner, which is, this is a 7N and 7NB, 7VB, 7NA, 7T, 7P, and 6GN. So I'm zooming out, and that's my setup. And I am going to measure equal parts of the Shades EQ processing solution. So I'm also going to measure about 5 milliliters of the processing solution and add to each of the different toners, mix them up, and then I'm going to apply. This is the Shades EQ processing solution that I've already measured out. I'm going to put 5 milliliters in each of the toners. So let's go. This is how everything looks like once it's processing. So something is happening to all the hair. I'm going to let it process for 20 minutes and I'm going to come back, put it on a more white surface so we can talk about it in terms of what happened after it processed.
Now let's talk about the level 7. So I'm going to start with 7N. 7N is the neutral color, almost natural color. Those of you who understand color know that you use the ends to kind of cover gray. And I don't think I touched on it here before, but then Shades EQ can be used to gray blend. I think you can add heat to it instead of a cap. I don't remember, I think it's 40 minutes. And if you have a natural level 7, you can use the ends to gray blend your hair depending on kind of like how much gray you have in terms of percentage of gray that you have. But in this video, level 7s, when you're bleaching your hair, you get to level 6, 7 is where your hair stays orange, especially when your hair is dark and you're trying to lift it up higher and you get within the 6, 7 range. Sometimes your hair will not budge and you might have to bleach again depending on how light you want to be or what type of coloration that you're trying to get. And so at the level 7 stage, when you decide that you want to use a 7N toner, it has a background of brown to tan and has a blue violet in it. It has equal amounts of cool to warm colors in it. It balances itself out and is very neutral and you can use it. And if you remember when I was bleaching my hair, I had that orange band where I fold my hair and I wanted to eliminate that orange that I had. And so what I did was I mixed a 7N and a 7P and I applied that so that I can eliminate that orange band that I have. So level 7 is kind of nice. Can give level 7N, the toner 7N can give you a very nice neutral color or neutral blonde when you are bleaching your hair. You just don't want to be too light but you also don't want to be orange. Now 7NB. 7NB also has a brown to tan background, but unlike the 7N, it has a rare violet, so it has a little bit more of a red pigmentation in it, so it's a little bit warmer. So when you look at the color breakdown, it has two cool colors, which is 2B, 2 blues, and then it has 4 warm colors in it, which is 3 reds and 1 yellow. So when you use an NB on your hair, you do have a little bit more of a warmer color, but it's beautiful because it does have the violet in it and the blue in it, which is also going to remove any type of brass that you have in your hair. So your hair, the rare violet kind of removes the brass in your hair, but then the warm colors also give you a little bit of enhancement and make your hair look nice and like a natural brown color. So sometimes in the salon, for me personally, I like using the NBs because it doesn't make your color flat. It gives you a nice warm brown and also eliminates like the brass in that level 6-7 range. And so overall, depending on where you are what you're trying to do with your toner, how you want the client to look like, is when you either pick like an N or an NB. But do remember that the NB has more of a warmer tonation in it than the N does. So 7VB. These 7VB hasn't been out as long as some of the other level 7 toners in Shades of Q have been out, because 7VB then came out quite recently. Well, not recently, but it hasn't been out that long. And it's one of the newer colors. I haven't used it as much in the salon, but then when you are working with hair that's like extremely orange, it has that packed black to gray background and also has the blue violet in it. So it's very cool color. Because of the so many blues that it has 3 blues in it and 1 warm, which is with like a little bit of red in it. I kind of wanted to show it again here. It almost has a tint of green in it because it has so much blue packed in it to kind of eliminate all kinds of brass, like straight up cool to remove all the brass in the hair. And so VB is really good for people who kind of don't want to see any type of warm tonation in their blonde. Like if you are the medium blonde, some people kind of want to have that almost like a mushroomy type coloration. That would be a good color to use, but it would pretty much knock out all the orange in it and give you a nice cool medium blonde that you're looking for. 7NA is very, very similar to in terms of kind of how the color is structured. It has a black to gray background and a blue violet in it. It's packed with a lot of cooler colors too. 3 blue, 3 cool colors, which are blue, and then there's one warm, I guess like a warm color, which is red. Now, NA is those people who kind of like want to have that natural ashy color, so it knocks down your brass and it just gives your hair nice ashy type medium blonde. So people like the NA is also kind of recent in the Shades of Q color line, and a lot of people like it. If you remember in the My Level 9 toner experiment, I talked about how in the level 9s it's very, very strong if the hair is kind of high yellow and you just put a straight NA in it. You probably get a green because yellow plus blue is what? Green. Now in the neutrals you would not see that. It's a straight up knockdown. It actually looks, hopefully you can see the swatch, but then also I'm going to put in a picture so you can see it. It completely knocks out the orange and just makes it very neutral or natural or kind of ashy type blonde. So people who kind of in the level 7 state, the hair doesn't turn green. It's more like whoop, flat ash. So if you don't want any type of cool color in your blonde when you are in that much lower level 6, 7, then I would suggest that you use like a nice depending on where your hair is, like you can use a 7NA or a 6. I don't know if they have a 6NA, but like a 7NA in that state, your hair will look nice and ashy. Knock out all your brass. 7T. Now a lot of people kind of want to be in that titanium-ish, silverish type place. Like some people when they go blonde, especially those who are really high yellow, they want to be really platinum, and you can make them blonde. A nice icy or more like a more silver blonde. People really like that. But sometimes when your hair doesn't get all the way up there to a level 9 and you're actually in the orange state and you don't want to bleach your hair again, you can use some of these level toners to kind of give you that sort of titanium-y type blonde in that state. Now, this is how my level 7 came out. I was kind of surprised about how it came out because usually I just don't remember it coming out like that. And I also been home for a while, so I was like, it's supposed to be a little bit like cooler than it looked in the swatch. But 7T has a black to gray background and also a silver blue. Now, when you look at the breakdown of it, the silver blue it has a green and a blue base, right? And you know, if you break it down further down, it's a yellow and two blues. Now, with the gray in the 7T toner, what it does is like some people whose hair have a lot of red in it. You're trying to counteract the red, and like when you look at the color wheel, what cancels out red again? Green, right? I always talk about this. Look at some of my other videos. So you can use 7T to kind of knock out some people who have a tint of red in their hair and they want to be much cooler. You would use like 7T because you're trying to cancel out some orange, which the blue will work on the orange, but the green in there will also cancel out some of the red that you're trying to cancel out. So sometimes when you're toning people, so you got to think about, what am I trying to eliminate here? Now, I want to remove red. The hair person has a reddish in their hair, but then they also have orange in their hair. So 7T in that medium state will be able to kind of counter-react these unwanted tones that you have in the hair. Now, sometimes, like, one of the things that I know is that Shades of Q, when you don't properly close the container, is not as good to use. Now, I'd used some old 7T that I had, so I don't know if that's kind of why I feel like my swatch didn't get as cool like I thought it was gonna look. So this, I'm not sure, but it's supposed to look a little bit more cooler than it looked right now. So I don't know, but I'll just still show you what I got because this is basically for what I did at home. So I definitely will show you. But then 7T is very, very good. 6T especially if you really want to like get in there and get that dark titanium color. 6T is like really good for that. And you know, of course, they have 7T, so depending on what level you are, you can use 6 or 7T to knock out some of the brass that you're trying to eliminate in the lower level hair, and then remove some of the red tones in hair that you don't want, depending on what your situation is or what type of color correction that you're undergoing. 7P. 7P is a pretty color. A lot of us like 9P, 8. Well, do they have 8P? I don't think they have 8P. They have so many of these different colors and shades of hue. Sometimes it's hard to remember what they have. Sometimes you assume they have something and they don't. So we love 7P. I mixed 7N and 7P when I was doing my shadow. But 7P is a very beautiful color, as you can see in the swatch. It's a knockout of the brass and the orange in the hair, just like the 7N is, just like the 7N is. It's also it also has the same black to gray background with the blue violet base. That's 3 cool colors, one warm color, which is a red. Now, so it's very strong in pigmentation with the blue in it to try and knock out any orange in your hair. Now, you have to understand that in this stage, what we're really trying to eliminate is orange. And what does blue do again? What does blue do again? You know what a blue does. It removes orange. So a lot of these toners that I'm showing you, the main job or what it does is to kind of remove the orange and make your hair less brassy or as little black brass as possible. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. So 7P is very beautiful. It's also sort of flat and kind of like very neutral, and it doesn't give you any type of warmth because it just has just one warm color in it. So depending on where you're trying to be, how you want your client to look like, even if you're doing it yourself, how you want your blonde to look like is when you pick up 7P and use it, just because it has that no pearl, so you have a nice medium pearly blonde. It's just a beautiful color overall in general. So yeah, 7P. So my bonus swatch was 6GN, and it's called, I think it's called Mars. I think it's called Mars in Shady Q. Yeah, it's called Mars. And it has a gray and a green yellow background. And I promise you guys, so if you have red in your hair again and you want to remove it, this is packed with a whole bunch of blue and yellow to remove your red. So if, like, let's say you dyed your hair and you had a lot of, or you put a whole lot of red in your hair and you try to color remove it, but then you still can see red in it, or after you do a little more of the color remover, you just feel like you still have a tint of red in your hair, you can do a couple things. You can use some of the direct dyes that have a green pigmentation and trying to counter-react the red in your hair, or you can use Shades of Q and then use Mars. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring you back to a more neutral type of brown tonation that you're looking for. And again, as I explained before, that 7T sort of does something similar, like the T range. The 7T has green in it. Now this one is packed with a lot of blue and yellow to do that job of trying to bring you back to a neutral. So when you're toning hair, it's just not just to enhance your hair. You're trying to enhance your hair, you're trying to neutralize, and then you're also trying to cancel out certain things in your hair. So I know a lot of us think that you're toning the hair for it to be bronze, you're trying to get it to be blonde, you're trying to get it to be silver, icy, platinum, all of that stuff. But there's a reason why all of these things are made. They are made for certain reasons. Just have to understand the basis of what these are made in. So if you are here struggling to remove red out of your hair or red out of a client's hair, this should be one of the toners that you can use to help that. After you color remove a couple times and then you kind of want to neutralize the person back to a nice brown, more like a medium brown color, this is a good toner to do that. So I wanted to kind of touch on this a lot. Most people are sort of scared to use 6GN. Most people don't use it. I think they have it in A2. So if the hair was a little bit lighter and they had a red tonation in it, in the level 8 state, you'll be able to use the GNs. But then the 6 is also like, really, when you think about it, level 5, 6 is where you still have some of the red tones in it. So then it works better in that lower level to remove red in the hair. So yeah, so 6GN. So try it out if you never tried it before, because it works wonders in trying to neutralize the red in your hair. So guys, I am done with the Love and 7 toners. I really wanted to touch on 7V, but I realized that I didn't have it, and we're still home in quarantine because of COVID, so I couldn't go to the salon and get the 7V. But you get the gist. If you've seen a lot of these colors, and I'm going to show it all out towards the end so you can really see how they look like, and you can play with these colors yourself, especially if you're a hairstylist and you kind of want to understand how Shades of Q work. You have to play. I mean, you can watch these videos as much as possible if somebody buys it and use it, but the only way you know how it works is if you use it and kind of try to understand the basis and the science behind these toners, and not just say, give me your formula. Because if you understand how these toners work, you don't need anybody else's formula. You can formulate yourself. So thank you for watching. Once again, comment below, let me know what you think. If you used the level 7 toners before, if you've used Shades of Q gloss before, have dibbled and doubled in the level 7s, what you think, what you don't think, and overall what you thought how my swatches look like. So again, let's stay connected, and I'll talk to you guys soon.